Welcome. It's About Town Deb to City Talk. I am so kind of nervous. I'm going to be honest with you. Normally I have my amazing co-host next to me, but I am flying solo. So we're just going to play it by ear, and I'm going to talk about your legacy. So stay tuned.
In Nevada near the silver mines, there's a kind-hearted woman. She's looking so fine, always taking care of her community, bringing folks together is her cup of tea. She's out on the road and all over the web with a big smiling heart. It's About Town Deb.
Welcome to City Talk. It's About Town Deb. Like I mentioned in the little preview, as you could see, I'm solo today. Yvonne Murphy, my sassy soul sister, wasn't able to make it today. But you know what? Life happens. And that's why we keep it real here on the set of City Talk. Before I get going, we are going to be talking about what is your legacy and how do you want people to see you, like right now and when you're gone, and how do you want your family, your community to feel about you when you're gone? So I have some notes about that. But before we get going, I want to thank our sponsors. So I want to thank Surratt Law Practice. Kim has been by my side forever. So since it's only me here, I'll spend a little extra time giving some extra thank you. So Kim, honestly, thank you for being, like I said, by my side. You've supported me since day one, and I love how you support all the families through your adoption, and you were just there for everybody and our community. So thank you, Kim. Crystal Basin Cellars, thank you, Mike and Melissa, and the whole El Dorado wine country for embracing About Town Deb. And I'm really grateful to be able to go over the hill, and right now you can't get over because of the snow, and it's crazy, because if you're listening, I'm in Sparks, Nevada right now. Tahoe is right over the hill, and you have to go through Tahoe to get to El Dorado wine country. So they're getting a ton of snow as well. So I'm sending lots of blessings and lots of extra everything to you guys, because I know it's unusual to have that much snow, and especially up in Tahoe too. People are shoveling out. And like I said, I'm in Sparks, Nevada, and I am at the Musicians Rehearsal Center. Christian, the man behind the screen, has been doing this for years and years with me. And he's going to be like sending good vibes, because I'm keeping it real. I have never really done a solo show, so we're going to see how this goes. So let's start with a quote. That is usually what I like to do. So the first quote is, if you're going to live, leave a legacy. Make a mark on the world that cannot be erased. Maya Angelou. And I really feel how that's totally important. So if you're listening out there, what kind of mark do you want to leave? Is it more about your family? Is it about your community? Is it about your job, your neighborhood? What do you want to do to make a difference in this world? So speaking about that, I did look at what it means. So what does it mean to leave a legacy? In its simplest terms, your legacy is something meaningful that you will give to the people who come after you. You might see the benefits of your activities, your gifts while still alive, but the results will continue after your death. It would be like, so I would love you to think about, like I'm trying to do, engage your life with passion and gratitude, and have grace with yourself and be patient. And I feel like I'm very blessed. I've talked about Papa Tony, and we're going to show a video when we come back in from the break. We have a little bit of time right now, but we'll show the video. And I decided a way I can leave a legacy for Papa. Way back when I first started, like we're talking years ago, I would do a Throwback Thursday. So I said, Papa, share a memory, like how it was way back when. And he just opened his heart, and he remembers so much. And he talked about, working in the market, or not really grocery store, the country store, and what the prices were. So I really want you to listen in when we play that. But Papa's legacy really was about kindness and about helping people and being a mentor and listening. And so you think about your legacy doesn't need to be about, oh my gosh, I have millions of dollars and I'm going to do all this. Your legacy is about who you are, how you affected people, how many times you said to somebody, can I help you? What can I do for you? What do you need? I want to be known as that person that was a connector that said, hey, if somebody says, hey, Deb, can you help me with this? If I could, I want to be that person. So when I'm gone, I want them to say, oh, that About Town Deb girl. Yeah, she really loved with her heart. She loved to help people. She was that connector. So for me, that's what I want. I just want the kindness and the grace to shine through. And it's hard sometimes. And then the other thing that I read about this, which can say a lot too, it says traditionally, a legacy refers to what you left behind by a person in their will. So if my rich uncle died and left me $1 million, that would be his legacy. But I'm saying more consequently, the term legacy refers to the impact and the influence a person leaves on those around them. It is the impact that is felt long after they're gone. So the question is, how will you be remembered? So think about that. I'll be right back after the break, and you'll be hearing Papa's little playback or Papa's little moment. So stay tuned. It's About Town Deb. I'll be right back.
Now more than ever, family matters, and Surratt Law Practice has your family in mind. Kimberly Surratt and her team have been helping maintain healthy families through their holistic approach to adoption and surrogacy, child custody, estate planning, and more for over 13 years. Your family law concerns are in caring hands with Surratt Law. Schedule your private consultation with a compassionate Surratt Law Practice team member today by calling 775-636-8200 or visiting lawyersforfamilies.com. Surratt Law, where family matters.
You're enjoying this episode on Angel Fenix Productions Podcast Network. To explore a complete lineup of quality programs and media production services, head on over to angelphoenix.com or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Angel Fenix Productions.
She's out on the road and all over the web with a big smiling heart. It's About Town Deb.
My town, your town, or any town, this is About Town Deb presents City Talk. Now, back to the show.
And this is our Throwback Thursday, Remember When, Papa Tony moment. So, Papa Tony, remember when?
I remember well in 1936 when I worked in a grocery store, and bread was 8 cents a loaf, milk was 45 cents a gallon, and I remember I used to buy a sack of flour from my mom for 50 cents.
And that's our Remember When throwback moment, Papa Tony style. Hey guys, I'm back. So what did you think about that video? I feel like the best legacy, especially now with the internet and the Facebook and there's all this stuff online. And I was talking to my friend James this morning and we were talking about the word legacy, which is weird because I didn't tell him this was what the show was going to be about. And he had Googled his name and he was able to, see about him and about his family. And I actually, went on Google and Googled my name. And so you think about it, when somebody Googles you and they haven't seen you in a while, this is their time to find out how you are. Where have you been? Are you still here with us? And I feel like that is really important that, we do have social media, but if a close family member or a friend and, they're online and they've passed and they have like the little website where you can write about them, I think that's a great way that you can share your thoughts and how much that person meant to you. And so I decided to Google I Googled Anthony E. Rhodey, not Papa Tony. And I was surprised. I don't think I had taken the time at the time when he passed. And I read some of the comments. And a lot of people were mentioning me, saying how much that I remind them of them and the legacy he left me to follow in his footsteps. And I feel like, Papa, I know you're listening, and all my family and friends who know him, you did, honestly, your legacy is heart and soul and kindness. And you were there for me. You were there for all of our neighbors, all your nieces and nephews. And I actually read one from Erin Murphy. So my best friend Jan, her little sister, would come over a lot and she would tag, as she put a thing, she was tagged along, but I didn't, have any siblings. So for me, I loved having her there. But she remembered baking apple pie with my dad. She remembered all these things that I totally had forgot. So leaving, for me to go back and read that, I think it was on legacy.com. I'm not quite sure, so don't quote me. But reading what people wrote, it really made me feel even closer to my dad. It made me feel closer to all the friends and family that took time to write that. So it makes me feel like I need to take that time from now on. And then you have Facebook. So let's bring in the social media part of it. Yes, you can there's lots of stuff we put on Facebook, but sometimes when you Google, if you don't have a Facebook account, you may not be able to see that. But I kind of use Facebook as a way to create those memories. So when I go back and my kids go back, they're going to go, wow, that was cool when mom did that. Or that was cool when we all went to that event. So there's a way that you can document maybe some of the memories you have so that when people go back and they do look you up, they're going to see that. If you look up hashtag Papa Tony Reno, you will see some of these videos. And I know I keep talking about them, but I feel like if there's somebody in your life that's so important, that's impacted you. So who's somebody in your life? Who's somebody who has really touched your heart? It doesn't even need to be a family member. It could be a neighbor. It could be a best friend. So think about somebody right now. We're going to just take a second. I just want you to think about it. Who is that person? What did they teach you? What did they leave you? What memory? So think about that. And if they are still alive, call them, write them, text them, tell them thank you for that memory. And there's different ways. So there's different ways. You can leave a legacy to your community. And I know Reno, of course. Reno is, all of our communities are great. But we have so many community members that volunteer and they give their time and they give their talents, and there's like in Midtown, and it's coming up in Reno and Midtown. You can join in and volunteer to clean up the area. So that's a great legacy. If you were the person who said, hey, I think it'd be a great idea if like every month or every quarter, we all gathered together and we cleaned up downtown or Midtown or Riverwalk, that's a legacy. People aren't going to forget that you thought about that to make a difference. So that's for community. I think that's a pretty easy example. And then the other one would be, the family one we've kind of talked about. That's, I think, just being a good family member and being there for your family. And let's go with a quote then, because this talks about generations. So it kind of fits in where I'm at. We must begin thinking like a river. If we are to leave a legacy of beauty and life for our future generations. So think about, as you're leaving your thoughts, as whatever you're doing, it's like it's flowing through the world, and it's there, and your words are going to be there. Like whatever you say to somebody, you don't know that one thing that you've said will remain with them. So with that said, I'm going to share a really cool story. Papa Tony was always everywhere with me as About Town Deb. And we were at Wild River Grill, and we were listening to live music. And I love that about our community, lots of live music. And one of my friends said, hey, my daughter would really love to talk to your dad. She had only seen him. She really didn't know him that well, but she really wanted to hear his wisdom. So she called her daughter and said, hey, Papa's here. And everybody called him Papa Tony. So, hey, come on down. So the daughter came over, and I walked to listen to music, and she had her time with him. And, she had tattoos and was gothic, and she just really had a topic or something that was really important to her that she wanted my dad's perspective. Now think about this. She's probably 19 or 20, and my dad is 93 at the time. So a 93-year-old man made an impact on an 18, 19, 20-year-old young woman who wanted to know more about life. And so when a few weeks later, my dad did pass, and she came to the rosary, and she bopped up with her, tats and that, and said to everybody, you probably don't know who I am, but I got to tell you, that day meant so much to me. Papa took the time to listen to me and to guide me. And he had never met her before, but he left a lasting impact by taking that time to just sit there and listen and share his wisdom. So for me, that's a legacy, just being there for somebody. And that I will never forget that moment. And another moment, a gal named Kate, she flew in to be there, and she came up and she did a rap song and sang, and people were looking like, who are these people that Papa knew? So really take that time to think, who have you sat with? Who has shared their soul with you and shared a memory with you that stayed with you? So think about that. Who's somebody that's in your world that's like that? And then the other one, I was talking with my friend this morning, and we were talking about, like I say, there's all kinds of legacies, and an easy legacy that I'm just going to kind of share this because this was my son when Joey and Josh both, but this is the specially made by love, the first grade class of 1996 to 1997. It was titled, here's what it looks like. And the title was Yum, 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 the amazing first ever first grade cookbook. So as I look through this, I saved it, of course, you know how moms, we save all those things and grandparents do. Each of the child was able to, like the mom typed the recipe, but then they got to draw on it and, you know, put their personality into it. And Joey loved to make little homemade pizzas. So his was pizza, but I look and I see the names of all these kids and I'm like, dang, you know, how cool is that Joey can take this and show his kids or his grandkids that he was a part of this. So a recipe book. I think that we had my family in Nebraska, we all pitched in and we all shared our recipes. So that's a great legacy. And then think about, do you have like your grandparents, that have their favorite recipe? Aunt Janet, she made her brownies. Every holiday, everybody wanted Aunt Janet's brownies. My cousin Lucy, her legacy is her Chinese chicken salad, her mashed potatoes, she makes this amazing garlic salad now that everybody loves. So what's that something special that you bring to an event, you bring to the table? What's a dish that somebody's going to remember you by? What's a dish that you remember from one of your family members? So think about that and, you know, recreate that dish so that legacy of those brownies will live on. Those are easy things. So I want you to realize that it's not just about, you know, yes, it's great to be able to have a hospital wing in your name, but reality is most of us, our legacy is going to be who we are. And when you do look back, you want to, you know, have people remember for you for that. So here's a question you could ask yourself. Is there a problem in my community that I could help solve? Like I said, talking about cleanup by the river. Is there something that I could do to make things easier for people who face problems similar to mine? So I would say, keeping it real and keeping it personal, it's really not a problem, but I struggled with stuttering and all that kind of stuff as a child and as an adult. So I feel like it could happen at any time. It could happen now, but thank goodness I'm on the upside of that. But I would love to be able to, if somebody called and said, hey, Deb, you know, I know you went through that your life and you know, how did you get through it? How did you do it? So I would be proud if somebody say, hey, that About Town Deb, man, she had to overcome quite a bit and she made it. So think about that. And what is something meaningful that I could give to my children and grandchildren? Meaningful. It could be a story. It could be a piece of jewelry. So we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to continue on a little bit more about this. And so stay tuned. It's Debbie McCarthy, About Town Deb, with City Talk.
Now more than ever, family matters, and Surratt Law Practice has your family in mind. Kimberly Surratt and her team have been helping maintain healthy families through their holistic approach to adoption and surrogacy, child custody, estate planning, and more for over 13 years. Your family law concerns are in caring hands with Surratt Law. Schedule your private consultation with a compassionate Surratt Law Practice team member today by calling 775-636-8200 or visiting lawyersforfamilies.com. Surratt Law, where family matters.
You're enjoying this episode on Angel Phoenix Productions Podcast Network. To explore a complete lineup of quality programs and media production services, head on over to angelphoenix.com or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Angel Phoenix Productions.
You know that's what she said. Come on, let's have some fun with About Town Deb.
My town, your town, or any town, this is About Town Deb presents City Talk. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. About Town Deb, Debbie McCarthy, with City Talk. I miss having all my peeps next to me. I have Amber, I have Amber Hill, I have Yvonne Murphy, I have Bill Brown, I have Jamie with Pineapple Pedicabs. I have so many amazing women friends and guy friends who are always here to support me. So that's a legacy. I want people to know that I'm the kind of person that I really don't like to be solo. I like to have support people and have people by my side. So that's another thing. So let's do another quote. Here we go. Don't just build a career, leave a legacy. And I'm thinking that's why I was saying earlier that you don't have to have a lot. You don't have to have, yes, it'd be, like I say, wonderful to have your name on a building. And thank goodness we have so many amazing foundations in our community, and I'm sure in your community, people that have saved up and they've left a legacy. So when you, like the Hopes Clinic, that would be Stacy Matheson Foundation. There's E.L. Wiggins. There's all kinds of stuff. So thank goodness we have that. And then we have the Renown Foundation. Yvonne is a part of that. And without those donations, we wouldn't be able to help people. So it's important. So please, if you are able to do that, please find a foundation that you could give to or that you could start on your own. And then here's another one. It said it could support. So here, I'm sorry, let me back up here a little bit because your legacy might quietly help your family flourish in the future. It could support a good cause that educates people or makes the world more beautiful and peaceful. And that could be as simple as a park bench. You know what? I was in, so we're just, me, I just bounce all over. I was in Carson City for an event with Visit Carson City, and George and I were doing my About Town Deb, and I saw this bench, like not randomly, it was placed there. And it had like it was dedicated, and it had for mom and dad or somebody's name. And I thought, or maybe it said for Nan, it maybe even said Nana and Pa. It said something that touched me. So I sat down, I'm like, hey, this is amazing. I can take a moment and think about how my mom and dad and grandparents and aunts and uncles affected me. So that's a simple thing. You can, if your family gets together and you want to honor a family member or a community member, a park bench, you can plant a tree. There's all kinds of things you can do. And I just want to remind you of that I know that you're going to be able to find many ways that you can do that. The other one is an application you could do each day. We work hard, all of us work hard to build our legacy. Like I said, it could be your home, your work, and in your community. And we're building it with our family, with our friends, with our coworkers. And that's what we need to remember. Like I say, together we're one heart. So think about what you could do in your workplace. How could your group of coworkers, or if you're in a mom's group, what could you guys do to leave a legacy for your play group, for the moms that your kids grew up with, and those memories those kids are going to have? And it's all like, say, I want to be remembered as a relationship builder, a community builder. That's what I want people to know, that I was there to build them up. And, especially with my kids and doing that. And if you creating a legacy, it takes faith, a lot of faith, because after all, you're not going to know how it's going to turn out, but you have to believe that what you're doing is right. So take a minute to think, which I mentioned earlier, what is something, really think about it, guys. What is something that is so important that you've done or you've shared with your child or your mom or a neighbor where they said, wow, thank you. Thank you for that. I'm not going to forget that. It's so simple things. So I want to really put in our minds that really it's about your legacy as a person, as a mom, as an employer, as an employee, as a neighbor, as the best worker in your job, whatever it is. Be the best you can be. And that's what Papa would always say to me. And I love the idea, if you see a problem, how can you do it? And that goes back to our community. Somebody sees something that needs to be done. They say, let's do it. Who wants to help? Let's get it going. And you're going to be remembered for that. The other one is you can always fund a trust. A lot of people do that. I said sponsor a park bench or a playground. Fund a scholarship. Those are a great way. Support medical research like at Renown. Create a family archive. And that's, to me, that really could be, you can write a book. You can do like a Facebook, anything like, you can put your photos on Facebook. And nowadays, I haven't done it, but I know people who do this. Like if you take a trip, you can take those photos and create a memory book. So now you have these books, the coffee table books of the memories of your trips. That's the way you can do a legacy. Donate to your local library. And I thought about this. I have a lot of Papa's books and a lot of books from different family members. And like, I'm talking like books that were my dad's parents' books. I've got some old books. Maybe donate them. I'm thinking maybe I can donate them to like a library, donate them to a school. And that way, and then maybe in it say donated in memory of Anthony Rohde. So if there's some books or something in your house right now that's a memory, donate them. I know that my dad has lots of stuff for the military, and I would love, if you guys have any ideas, tell me. I would love to have a museum or somewhere where I can leave these. So they're just not in a box, you know. Don't keep your memories in a box. Like put them up. But another way of that, when my dad passed, Lucy and Becca, it's really a cousin, but I'm Aunt Debbie to her. Becca came over with her mom, Lucy, and we went through all of my dad's Army stuff, his medals, his Disneyland, everything that he saved. And she took 2 walls in my loft and she displayed it. How cool is that? So now when I sit in my loft, which is my office, I'm looking at a wall and I'm seeing mementos of my dad's family and grandparents. That's a legacy right there. So take the time, like Yvonne and I mentioned last week, go through those photos, bring up those memories, share them with your kids now so then they can pass them on. Like I said, make a family recipe, which I talked about that. Those are all really important things. Let me find another quote, and then I'm going to share a little bit about what's been happening with me. Let's see. Here we go. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. Legacy is not what we left behind us. Wait, let me say that again. Legacy is not what will be left once we're gone through our life. It's what's left us that left us standing once life is gone through our life. So again, it's about who you are, guys. Be the best person you could be. And I'm going to put this down because I'm just going to like chat with you for a moment. So the last few months, if you'd noticed, maybe the last 6 months, I've been a little quiet on my social media. Yes, I'm about town. I've done my stuff, but I've had a lot of opportunities to go to Southern California and be with family and help them as they have been going through processes of losing loved ones, and being there to help family members and going through the stuff, and, you know, to write an obituary and write a memorial. That's important to me. I want to be that family member that they could say, hey, call me. Can you come help me? So I have been off the grid a little bit, and I apologize for that. In the last few weeks, maybe last few months, I've really been quiet. And it's because I haven't like posted as much stuff because I've been going through this coughing and this issue we've talked about. And if I had not advocated for myself, I wouldn't have kept going and asking questions and second opinions in order to finally figure out why I've been coughing my whole life. So I'm going to be taking care of that. So for the next few weeks, Jazzy Georgia and a lot of my friends are going to be at my house, and they're going to be helping take care of me, because for the first, it's like a 6-week process, but it's a lot to do with my with GERD and acid ingestion and hernia and whatever. So I won't be able to talk as much in a few days, which is kind of tough for me because I like talking. But I want to thank everybody for always being there for me and supporting me and being by my side. And anytime I need them, you're there. So you guys are my legacy. Gotcha. Without you, I wouldn't be able to be here to be About Town Deb. So I'm going to take a little breather. So I might do a best of, I don't know, for the following week. But when you're listening to this right now, I would have had the surgery on Monday. This is Wednesday. You'll be watching on Wednesday. And I know I'll be ready to go and start back up. But if you need anything, you know, you can go on Facebook and you could message me. I'm totally fine with that. I will definitely be looking at Facebook. But just know from the bottom of my heart, you guys are so important to me, and you are what keep me going. So know that each and every day I'm going to be getting healthy and I'm going to be thinking about you. And if you have any ideas for topics to come up, please let me know. And most of all, remember, like I say, together we are one heart and together we can make a difference. So remember to be patient, be kind, and be there for your family and friends and have that legacy of being somebody that's, I think, very simple. Be kind, be generous, have grace, and know that I love you guys. And I will see you when I get back. And thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will see you in a couple of weeks. About Town Deb.
This podcast was a production of Angel Phoenix Productions. Explore more episodes of this show or other great shows on the Angel Phoenix Podcast Network by visiting angelphoenix.com. The views expressed in this show do not necessarily represent those of Angel Phoenix Productions or its advertisers and may contain language that's unsuitable for younger listeners.